welcome to 1998. This is what it looked like. I'm filming on a camera that was released around that time, and since I'm filming on a video camera that was released around that time, I thought it might be interesting to take a look at a movie filmed with a video camera which was released at that time. So what kinds of movies did people make with these consumer electronics they could use at home? Well, the kinds with naked people in them, of course. Welcome to Exploitation Reviews, and me, Rob, and today I'm taking a look at Fantom Kiler from 1998. This is a shot-on-video erotic slasher from Poland. I talk about well-known movies on this channel. Let's check this one out. We open on Fantom Kiler. I wanted to watch Fantom Kiler. Well, I'm too lazy to switch to VHS tapes, so let's just see what this one's like. And then, naked woman. So let's skip past that part. The lo-fi credits continue and eventually show us a guy with a knife, and hey, isn't that the dude from Blood and Black Lace? What's he doing in this movie? And the credits feature all kinds of naked women, so let's skip past all those plots and get to the plot. After the sleaziest credits you're ever likely to see, we're in a forest with two detectives, and they have found, you guessed it, a dead naked woman. One of the detectives says that the dead gal is reminiscent of another dead gal from a year ago, even though that one was much worse. In flashback, we get to see what was much worse. Ropes and a car. Seems a rather complicated way to get a woman to open her legs. Why not just be interesting or funny or kind? I mean, that's not hard. If you're not a Republican. And then we're in what looks like a train station. Two guys leer at a woman, and one says he bets she looks good naked, and then boom, she's naked, and he says, I knew it. Her nakedness is fantasy, as far as I can tell, so it's kind of weird that he says, I knew it. He must have a very active imagination. Well, whatever the case, the woman goes back and forth from dress to undress, so there's quite a lot of this scene that you can't see here on YouTube.
Man, I just work here.
But of course, we don't have to stay here. You can now support the channel on Patreon and get access to spicy versions of my reviews. Link is in the description. Well, anyway, the woman trips on a wet spot, and then she gets into an argument with the workers. She says she can get them fired, and in the commotion, one of the workers steals her keys. Outside, she can't find her keys and goes walking through the forest. This scene is rather surreal, and since we transitioned into this scene through one of the workers' eyes, maybe it's all his fantasy? Well, the forest helps her get undressed, and now with those things out in the open, I finally recognize her. She's one of the women from the credits. Did the credits show us all of the victims already? That's kind of an odd choice. So she comes upon a barbed wire fence, but she's wearing this skirt that doesn't allow her the kind of flexibility required to get through that barbed wire fence, so off comes the skirt. This movie is pretty awesome. She runs across the Blood and Black Lace dude, and things get a little erotic and then very stabby. This shot here is pretty cool. Love her reflection in the knife. The next day, the detectives find her body, so once again we're back with them, and once again they say this reminds them of a case from a year ago, and so once again we flash back to that case. But the flashback case is with a drill, not a knife, so I don't know how similar these killings are really. Another eye transition, and we're with a girl wearing a fur-trimmed nightie in the forest. The killer removes that for her, and for us, of course, and whoa, not everything about that girl is fur-trimmed. This movie's from the 90s, after all, not the 70s. Back with the train station cleaner, his partner is on medical leave, and his replacement dresses like this. The police bring in the other train station cleaner for some questions. He had some issues in the past with women, which make him, well, maybe not a suspect exactly, but let's say a person of interest. So, who is the killer? Is it him? Is it the other train station cleaner who fantasizes about these women? Well, that's enough out of me as far as plot goes. Let's talk some highlights. Well, if you're a teenage boy, or someone who still appreciates films made for teenage boy sensibilities, this is your movie. It is wall-to-wall naked women. Completely ridiculous excuses are made to get them out of their clothes, and sometimes there's no excuse given at all. They just randomly appear naked at a train station. It's kind of amazing in a way. And I'd like to say that as a man pushing 50, I've grown out of this sensibility, but no, a movie that abandons logic and reason in order to put naked people on screen?
That's what I want.
This movie has a cool, dreamlike quality to it. Sure, the transitions and video effects are crude and low budget, but there is on occasion some really nice cinematography. The kids today like to say fever dream, and I'm fine with that phrase. This movie is hot and surreal, so fever dream seems apposite. And just in general, it's kind of cool that a filmmaker could take cheap consumer electronics, like a video camera, and make a movie with it that some idiot will talk about on the internet 30 years later. And in a way, it makes me feel kind of guilty. I mean, I have better cameras than he had to make this movie, and all I use them for is to take pictures of birds and buildings and make silly videos for the internet. I should do better, but that's a conversation for another day. But beyond all that, and despite the nakedness and the cool, surreal vibe, the movie is not perfect. Like a Fantom Kiler getting his knife wet, this film has some shortcomings. Well, I didn't mention it before, but this movie is a comedy in a way. And I don't know if it's a cultural thing. I mean, this is a Polish movie after all, but the humor didn't really work for me. There's a recreation of the King Arthur myth here, for example, that I found to be more bizarre than funny. And there are a few fart jokes in here too, which if you watch my channel, you know that's not really my thing. And even though this movie is a standard 90 minutes, it does kind of drag at times. And not just because it's repetitive. There's one scene, for example, of a woman trying to get her shorts from underneath a car, and it goes on for way too long. It does not take 5 minutes to reach under a car and grab your shorts. That scene is getting stuck in a dryer level of ridiculous. So maybe it was ahead of its time. And you know, I said the women are hot, and they are, but some of them have plastic furniture upstairs, and I'm not such a fan of that. I much prefer softer furniture. Although, to compensate for that, many of them have waxed floors downstairs, and that's a fun change of pace. I spent so much time watching movies from the 70s that sometimes I forget that not every movie star has shag carpet.